Okay guys, so when I'm doing these big front engine jobs, and you'll find the videos, the full videos in the VIP group, there's a few tips and tricks and bits of information, but the problem is it takes hours to make these videos, so they're a special thing for the clients in the VIP group. What we do once we've got it all off like this is why we call it the big front engine job. We're replacing basically every belt and bearing tensioner on the front of the engine, and you can see the years of build-up of debris, 150,000 Ks worth, 150 odd. You can see how it's really just thick and clogged. You're not going to get the airflow through that anymore, right? And we like to keep the airflow set up. That's why these plastics are still here with the genuine Toyota bull bars, right? That funnels the air. That's why this foam's at the side, to put the air in through the cooling system, the intercooler and the condenser for the aircon, right? So we want that to be clear. We're going to reverse flush that out, and we're going to give all this time. But we don't like just compressed air. We like to use you know, a bit of water and wash all that dust off behind there. And we also do a few other little things, like a little bit of the moly coat on the rubber seal of the timing cover. Helps seal it a little bit to make sure the you know, the dust, reduce the amount of dust that does actually get past that seal of the rubber between there and that surface. Anyway, we're going to get the pressure washer right now and give this a hit and give it all a big clean up. Have some more information for you soon. So I've just given it a quick wash down. At the moment it's not the final clean. There's a number of cleans as we go when we do these jobs, but that one was just give that a wash down. Doesn't require a lot of pressure or anything. Just a little bit of degreaser and then a quick spray down like that. Now we're going to get the compressed air, blow it dry, get all these timing belt components back in place, sealed up and covered up, Mickey Mouse, and then we'll go ahead and give this a good reverse flush and push all the crud out towards me the way it came in. Made us start blowing it dry, obviously, you know, just giving it a bit of a blow with the compressed air, kind of like that sort of thing. And we're just going to keep going until it's really dry. We want it completely dry. It can even sit there for about 10 minutes before we put everything back together and cover it up. We just want it really dry. So that's pretty clean now. We're going to give it about another 10 minutes. What are we doing while what are we doing now while that's drying? You got to go off and wash the cover. Remember the cover that goes over here, that needs cleaning as well. So that's getting washed right now. One of the assistants is taking care of that, and that'll be nice and clean. That'll get blown dry. It'll get to sit out in the lovely sun we got here today. Look at that, yeah, a bit of sun. Like doing these jobs outdoors. Beautiful day for it. And of course the tensioner will go on down there first, then the new idler. Make sure you blow all the threads out. We've already done that. Don't forget the washer behind that idler. If you don't know what I mean, you need to watch these. Don't think because you've seen this little bit that you can take care of the job, and you probably can anyway without this video, and all the best to those that do. That's awesome. But if you're not sure about this, don't think because you saw a little snippet of a job that takes hours, you've got it all under control. Next thing is we're going to refit the tensioner, the idler. We're going to sit the belt on, check all the timing marks, release the tensioner. We're going to put the cover on once it's all dry and everything. And then, as I said, we're going to reverse flush this radiator and we're going to do a before and after comparison, right? So have a look at all that crud in there. You know, can you imagine any air at all flowing through that radiator? I couldn't imagine any going through there at all whatsoever. So you've basically got no cooling system, in my opinion, and you wonder why you have problems once you get to higher Ks. Think about it. There's a reason Toyota put these big vents in the front, big open vents. How important it is to get air. We even need to keep these plastic ducts in place and everything to channel the air, right? That's why the fan shrouds goes on here, and when you're in traffic at idle and the fan pulls it through. But you're not going to pull much through there, really, guys. Quite honest, you know, don't believe me. Look at it for yourself, right? I'll pick a spot for you. Here we go, I'll get in close. See if that works. Does that work? It's not going to focus. It's just complete. I'll call that a blocked radiator. Now, when we refer to blocked radiator, traditionally, it's blocked inside. So where the coolant flows is in those little tubes in there, right? See that tube right at the end of my fingernail? It's probably about, it's not very thick and it's not very wide. The opening inside there is probably about 1 millimeter, okay? A blocked radiator traditionally was old coolant, rust, you know, things didn't get changed, crap materials, and that used to block up those tubes there, right? That doesn't happen anymore. We've got quality Toyota materials and coolant, and we change it as prevention so that doesn't happen. But you've got the exterior core where you've got approximately probably 6 or 7 millimeters between those tubes, and here you've got these little fins that go up and down. And it's all about heat transfer because the air's meant to go through in between, and the heat from the coolant transfers through into those fins, and then the air blows past those fins there and cools it down, right? But it's just not going to be working like this. It's going to be hopeless. It's just, you know, it's going to do something, obviously, otherwise. And you wonder why your engine gets a bit hotter in summer going up hills. It's stuff like this, guys. This is one of the biggest causes of any increase in temperature. And if it's all clear and you've still got problems, you've got to take a look at your bull bars and the whole setup. Like I said, Toyota put these plastic guides to guide that air straight through the cooling system. You know, Toyota, they put it there for a reason, and so did all the other manufacturers. So once you put some of these bull bars that just don't allow airflow, you're compromised. There's a good chance it's going to be a contributor to any problems you have down the track. And these engines don't have many problems. They're damn awesome. They're some of the best ones out there, these cars and engines. But you've really got to think about these simple things. Back to basics. You know, you want to get high tech and go and get, you know, a chip to go faster and a tune and all this. They're already kind of like maxed out, and the cooling system's compromised at 150,000 Ks. Anyway, we're going to get on with cleaning it. I might have a bit more information for you soon. If you like it so far, please give us the thumbs up. Beautiful! Here we are, right? Can you see already how much better it looks? And we don't push it in from this side that way. As you saw, we push it from the way it went in is the way we want it to come back out, right? Now, I'm not saying we're done here, but it's pretty good. Let's have a close look. I mean, you tell me, mate. Chalk and cheese, isn't it? Bloody beautiful. Now the air can go in between those little fins and pass. Sorry about that, just took a delivery. See, you know, that is just going to work so much better than before. Back to basics, maintenance. You can do this cleaning often as you like. We do it every 150 with a big front engine job. One of the reasons we combine all this work together, it's very important. For those that are not sure, we do supply that big front engine kit, and the way to purchase it is to send me a text message during school hours, preferably Monday morning from 8 AM is fine, Melbourne time. Just shoot me a text message. What's the number? Watch the videos. Check the information on the channel. It's listed there. It's on our Facebook page, the Prado Hospital. It's on our Facebook page, Prado Hilux, 1KD, Ejectors, whatever, you know. It's listed around. I do show it in videos as well. I mention it in videos. If you don't know the phone number, you're not watching enough videos. You're robbing yourself of the important information. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on. I'm not sure if we're going to have much more for you on this one, but I really just wanted to show you some of the work that's involved, some of the checks, some of the things we do in regards to cleanliness and why. It's not worth rushing through these. It's not a slap bang job. You get what you pay for, right? You're going to do it every 150,000 Ks. Spend a little bit extra time or money and do it right. Right, so this is going back together. See the fan shroud, the difference it makes? You can't sort of get in there to clean, you know, behind there, right? So the way we do it, there's different ways to do things, but I have the belt on first. So obviously all the pulleys, new bearings and everything, the belt went on. and then we slip the fan and the radiator and the fan shroud here in together with the belt already on. Then I don't have to get down here to the tensioner for the belt. Now this pulley's obviously on an angle, but you just kind of push it in. You put one nut on, get it started, sits in place, and you put your bolts in the fan shroud here, and then you get down there and you just sort of like, you sort of press on the fan a little bit, like, see how it's moving, and then you can get your other nuts down there started and just gently. Don't use the nuts to pull the fan in, because it can be not square and sort of cocked up on the water pump. It needs to be nice and square, so you need to give it a bit of a twist before you get those nuts started. We're just going to keep working on getting this one back together. Yeah, hopefully you've got a bit of helpful information out of this so far. Keep an eye out if there's anything else I can tell you on this job that's worthwhile telling you about. Clean, clean, clean. Things just work. See, I don't always talk. Bleeding the cooling system. Alright, bleeding the cooling system. There's a lot of people asking about bleeding the cooling system, so I'm going to put the words bleeding the cooling system in the description of this video if I remember it. That's not what it was all about, but again, thanks for the feedback everyone and all the questions. Although I don't have time to get back to all of them individually, I do read them and take everything into account. Even some of those negative comments, I don't like them, but I do appreciate the feedback. Just be nice about the feedback. But what I'm concentrating on is the really positive feedback. The 95% of people that really love the channel. Appreciate your support, and I'm glad I'm here to help and able to help you. When it comes to bleeding the cooling system, some vehicles are quite complicated and can get real messy, literally. These are not really complicated, so I'm going to give you my procedure, not Toyota's procedure. This is what I do. So we've completely drained the cooling system. I don't like putting any water in the cooling system because the system's already clean. There's no need to flush it out. You're just going to put possible contaminants in there. Depends what water you're using and where you're from, and you may not get it out again. Okay, so I don't want to flush anything unless you've got a bigger problem in your cooling system than what's already in there. You can see what was already in here. This looks good. It was not looking too bad either. The car's only about 6 years old, 150,000 Ks. I am literally going to start pouring coolant in here as soon as I've got that tank back in place, while we do some other finishing touches like put the cover over the radiator, putting these clips back in. And while we're doing that, we're going to keep topping this up like what we're doing now. Do you see the engines running? No. We take the little cap off. Sometimes it's on this header tank. I call it a header tank, overflow tank, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes there's a cap on there. Sometimes it's on top of the radiator. It varies on Prados, Hiluxes and other Toyotas, right? There it is there. We took that off. And I'm not actually going to start the engine until... And good work pouring the coolant there for me. Thanks, Johnny, because you think I can hold a camera and do that? No. Let's see how good you are here. Oh, mate, he's good, mate. I reckon, he's trying to keep up the best here, showing off. There's a bit of a drip over the back there. He must have spilt some at some stage, see? Anyway, so look, we're not going to start this engine. What about if I rock the car around? Mess with you a little bit. No, he didn't even spill it. Good, good. Yeah, we're not even going to start the engine until it takes at least 8 litres of coolant. If you've had the water pump off and fully drained this cooling system, usually it's not going to take 10 plus. It's usually, you get yourself 2 5-litre bottles. There you go. You're asking what coolant? All right, super long life coolant, 50-50 premix, ready to go. It's a 5-litre bottle, right? Genuine Toyota. It's going to cost you for 2 bottles about, I don't know. No, should be no more than $80, $7 or $80. Depends where you buy it from, if they like you or not. You could have the West Coast tax if you're in WA. It might be $80 a bottle. I don't know. Anyway, how they roll over there. Positives and negatives of living over there at the moment. But look. This is how we do it. See how it just keeps going in and going in and going in. There's no need to start the engine until it takes at least about 8, I'll say about, I'm saying at least and I'm saying about. So maybe I should say at least 7 litres. But it's going to take 7 or 8 litres. That way, you're not going to cook the engine if it's taken 7 or 8 litres. At the moment, this has taken exactly 7 litres, okay? 7 litres so far. But you need to, sometimes once you let it go down to the lower line, it stops back bleeding through the system. So you do need to overfill it. So you've got to keep it, see the B? So there's a little B arrow there. See B there? Right, and the arrow? You've got to keep it above that line, and that's on the Hiluxes as well. You've got to keep it above the B line to bleed the cooling system. And once you've got at least about 8 or 9 litres, 7, 8, 9, you're not going to do any damage. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, you need to basically carefully not do what you're doing. I'm giving you the tips and information. This is what works. We put in that, we're starting pouring a full 5 litre bottle. Let's see, this could get messy. Oh, look at that, he's done well. Awesome. I had a lunch delivery, that's all that was, So basically, yeah, get 8 litres in. When it's sitting at about this level, keep it up to there above the blue line. We're gonna start the engine, we're gonna let it sit there and idle and come up to temperature. And really that's it, you can give it a little bit of revs if you like, 1,000, 1,500, get it to warm up a bit quicker, depending what climate you're in, how long it's going to take. But they can get a bit of an airlock in them. When I say that, I don't mean there's 2 litres in and 8 litres empty, so it's 80% empty. That's no good. That's why we've done it this way. But basically, once you got it to this level, the quickest way to actually bleed it is, once you warm it up a little bit, is then drive it gently. Don't go out thrashing it. Drive it gently, 1,500 revs, till it gets just up to operating temperature, about 80, 83 degrees. Look at your scan tool if you've got one. And then come back, park the car, shut it off, let it cool down, and then top it up to the full line, and then repeat the process, right? That's the best way, because you can spend a lot of time bleeding these, and they'll be just a little bit low. They'll be a little bit low, do you know what I mean? So you need to double check them. And I say to the customers, look, they can just drop down. It's never a lot, because you've taken the most of the majority in there. But you can have a few air bubbles that it actually takes a couple of drives to get those air bubbles out. So look, hopefully that's been helpful for you on bleeding the cooling system. And if you want more information, that's why we just don't do a simple video on bleeding the cooling system. We do videos with all this information included, and we include stuff like that. So you have to watch all the videos in their entirety, because you might look at a video that goes for half an hour, and it might have really important information later on. You got bored after 4, 5, 10 minutes because I was like now waffling. You think there's nothing left in this video? Sit tight, you never know, it's a maybe. But if there's nothing left, please remember to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn that bell on. Thanks guys, see ya. Okay, so we've completed this one with my assistant Johnny helping out, so we could get a bit of video work for you to show you. You can see everything back in place. So we've replaced the water pump, the coolant, the drive belt, the bearings, the timing belt, idler tensioner, basically giving that radiator a really good clean out. And this cooling system and vehicle and engine front end is going to be super reliable, just like it's new again, until 300,000 Ks, instead of maybe at 250 a water pump leak, maybe at 180 a water pump leak, maybe a bearing down there on the drive belt failing because of all the bog holes and whatever at 180 or 220 or 260, you get what I mean? So reliability plus is the reason we do this, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of that. That's a bada bing, bada boom. Please give us the thumbs up. Please subscribe and turn the bell on, and share the information for other people trying to help them out with the right, accurate information. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.